Hi there, good afternoon everybody. Welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back here with the series. We are running for 5 days straight, going Monday to Friday, a mini-series featuring Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. So the first topic, as you know if you watched yesterday, was their debut album. Today we're going to be talking about their biggest selling albums, or biggest selling album. So it's pretty straightforward to me. For Iron Maiden, it's clear cut. This was their biggest selling album, The Number of the Beast, somewhere in the range of around 20 million copies. Nothing Judas Priest did got close to that, but this was a huge album and put this band completely on the map. The other album for Judas Priest, you could choose one of either two albums. Some would choose British Steel because this is the one that kind of put them on the map, same as the Iron Maiden album. Sold somewhere between 1.5 to 2 million copies. Or you could go with Screaming for Vengeance, which is technically their biggest selling album, somewhere around the $2.5 to $3 million range. I like both albums. Preferred Screaming for Vengeance, but I'll try to work with both albums for this particular one because they both came out kind of back to back to each other. Not really. There was one album in the middle that kind of created a bit of a valley, but overall, I think these are considered their two biggest albums. Of course, the British Steel kind of launched them that way, and the Screaming for Vengeance really caused them to soar. You might even throw Turbo in there too, was another huge album by them. But for Iron Maiden, I think you have to go with Number of the Beast as the seller anyways. Okay, so we'll start with Iron Maiden. So for Iron Maiden, by the time they get to this is their third album. They still have changed their singer for this album, which made all the world difference. Paul Di'Anno leaves and is replaced by Bruce Dickinson. Nothing wrong with Paul Di'Anno. I liked his voice, more of a bit of a punky voice than Bruce Dickinson, but I think Dickinson is just superior in many areas, and so it was a big move for them. Also coming aboard, actually in the previous album, was Adrian Smith. So you have Dickinson, Adrian Smith, Dave Murray, Clive Burr still here. Who am I missing? And Steve Harris. Who am I missing? Steve Harris. Okay, yeah. So this is the album that kind of bullets them to the top and made their name household. Very big album. Couple of big hits on here: "Run to the Hills" and "The Number of the Beast," the title track. But over the years, aren't the iconic songs on the album that you would think that would be one of those two would be the most iconic, but actually "Hallowed Be Thy Name" is probably considered one of the most iconic songs, not only on this album but for Iron Maiden and heavy metal in general. So absolutely killer album with everything you could possibly want from a heavy metal album. Got a bit of that commercial sound to it. They were really good at masters at creating really hard rocking songs that the metal people like, but at the same time creating stuff, radio-friendly commercial stuff that was also big to the fans who weren't necessarily heavy metal fans, is what I'm trying to get at here. This is actually their third disc, so their third album. Doing very well at their third album, really came on. And for my favorite song on this album, I still would go with "Hallowed Be Thy Name." It wasn't initially my favorite, obviously. I think "Number of the Beast" probably was, and "The Prisoner" were two big tracks for me. But over the years, "Hallowed Be Thy Name" has become my particular favorite from the album. So for Judas Priest, you got two to choose from here. So probably their commercial breakthrough, biggest selling album, but not too far apart in a lot of respects. So this album, you've got start with this one. You've got pretty much the band that you would have going forward for some time. You've got Rob Halford, of course, on vocals here with his shorter hair. He's cut it down a little bit here. You've got Glenn Tipton and KK Downing, of course, on on guitars. Ian Hill on bass, and I believe this is yeah, I was right. This is kind of the first, I think this is the first, no, actually he may have been, no, I think this is the first album with Dave Holland on drums. He was with them throughout their big period. Yeah, so now you've got some of their biggest hits on this album too. Metal Gods, Breaking the Law, Grinder, and of course the massive, huge hit in Living After Midnight, which played a lot. The other three songs did have some commercial success, but I think are more of the stable live stuff that you see. Metal Gods, of course, Breaking the Law are both. I mean, Grinder gets a little bit of attention, maybe not as much as the other. This has a lot of pretty good stuff on it. Has a lot more of a commercial sound than their previous albums, but I love the cover. I love the sound of this album, so British Steel. The other one, of course, yeah, if I had to pick a favorite on this, I would probably pick Living After Midnight, even though it's really overplayed, but I still like it. It's a anthemic song. Metal Gods, of course, falls in that too. The other album, Screaming for Vengeance, came out a couple years later. So this is their 6th studio album. This is their 8th studio album. So they took a little bit longer to break through, but they also came from much further back as well. So for me, my favorite track on this is either Riding on the Wind or Devil Child. Love both those tracks. The bigger songs on the album were The Electric Eye, and of course, You Got Another Thing Coming. Big, massive hits as well. So putting this album probably over the top. I think this album kind of launched them. This one, of course, just took it further because they had already started, so it probably got so much sales just from that, and then it went even further. Very good albums, both of them. Yeah, of course, the members on this one are the exact same members that were on on British Steel. You've got Rob Halford on vocals, KK Downing on guitars, Glenn Tipton on guitars, Ian Hill on bass, and Holland on the drum, Dave Holland on the drums. So yeah, both these albums, very well done albums, but much more in that commercial realm that Judas Priest kind of went through for about 10 or 11 years there. They were very focused and had developed a sound that everybody liked. It was both raw, heavy, energetic, with a commercial attitude towards it that maybe not as appealing to their fan base as maybe Iron Maiden's commercial stuff was to their fan base, but still very appealing stuff. I think that both of those albums are great, and I think much of Judas Priest stuff is very good as well. So anyways, that's my choice for, those are the two albums that I think are their biggest, and also Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast being their biggest selling albums anyways. So commercial success. If you have commercial success, you can then do what you want after. Usually that's what happens. Some bands continue to go for the commercial gusto, try to make as much as they can. Others maybe just stick with the sound. I think with these two bands, a little bit different. I think Iron Maiden kind of tried to stick to the playbook that they had developed on Number of the Beast, and they went right through to all the way up to No Prayer for the Dying. All really excellent albums, all very playing by that playbook, maybe a little bit more progginess as they went along than previous, but still just well within their sound range. Judas Priest kind of tried to emulate a bit the sound of British Steel going forth, having varying success. Some of them were too far to the commercial side, others not far enough. But And then you get an absolute incredible mix with Screaming for Vengeance and Defenders of the Faith, which are kind of sticking with their overall sound and not overly commercial, but some commerciality to them. So that to me is my take on the two albums, or the albums chosen for today, for Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to leave any comments about any of the albums we've talked about today or about either of the bands, you can do that as well. We'll be back for episode 3 tomorrow of the mini-series we're running, Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, so I hope to see you then. Take care, have yourself a good day, a good evening, and goodbye.